Hey everyone, my name is Sean Pitcher. I am the performance dietitian that created this nutrition template that you are going to be using. I wanted to go over each of the tabs to make sure that you have a basic understanding of how to utilize each of these tabs and how to utilize the templates so that way you can get the most out of it. So the first tab that you can see I have here, if you end up deciding, right, that you want more individualized and one-on-one help beyond what this nutrition template can provide and help you, or you want to do a free 15-minute call to see if that is an option that you want to go down, this one-on-one services tab will have my Calendly link for you to schedule for that. I have my Instagram here on the left-hand side. I have my pricing. If you have any questions in regards to anything about the template, you can see my email is down below here, sportsrd607@gmail.com. And going into this next tab, one thing I would definitely highly suggest and recommend, and it's going to be part of the calculation, is getting a body composition test done. Now, gold standard is going to be DEXA. Below that's going to be BOD POD. And then below that would be an InBody. Now, I provided you three links, a DEXA link, an InBody link, and then something called Fit Nest City. So these are three different links where you can look up and put your address or zip code to find body composition machines in your area to allow you to be able to get that baseline body comp done. Why is that important? Because that's going to be able to give you information on where your weight, body fat percentage, fat mass, muscle tissue, and several other pieces of information so that way you have a baseline to be able to start off of. So as you progress and utilize this and or eventually use me one-on-one for individualized services, you've got some initial data to go off of to be able to progress from there. I'd also highly suggest getting labs done, but that is a separate service and a separate conversation if that's something you have questions on. Now, to get to the actual calculations page, please making sure you're paying attention to these red boxes. Only adjust boxes in yellow. If it does not have yellow, do not touch the box, do not change the box. You will impact and change all of the different equations that are implemented into this sheet. Please do not do that. So where you're going to start out as, and I just put mine, for example, say you're 33, you're going to put your weight, you're going to put your height in inches. Once you get your body comp done, you will then put your body fat percentage there. You will also click your activity factor. So if you scroll down to lines 29 to 35, you're going to see there's going to be 1.2 to 1.9. So it's going to give you an idea based on how active you are that day, or if you have active days during the week where you're training greater than an hour or more, or if you have off days where you're training maybe 0 to 30 minutes, or it's a more active recovery day, stretching, mobility, walking, etc. This activity factor chart is going to give you an idea on how you need to change your activity to then calculate what your fueling needs are going to be for that. So once you've determined that, you click the drop down box and you'll click the activity factor that best represents your needs. If your goal is to gain weight, maintain weight, or to lose weight, you will put that goal in there as well. And then you can also click how many meals you want to have a day. So as little as 3, up to 8, and then that'll fraction out some of your fueling needs as we go into some of these other tabs as we go along. You can see if you're a female based or a male. This section right here will break down how many calories you need if you're going to lose, gain, or maintain. And same thing for females. Again, male and females are different. So the predictive equations that are utilized in this specific Excel sheets are going to represent for those different changes. Now, I have in here in box 4, if you're going to have a training day versus an off day, it gives you some basic suggestions on what your carb versus for protein versus fat percentages should be. You can change and manipulate these how you feel fit, but these are just general recommendations. On a training day, you're going to need more carbohydrates. On a off day, you're going to need slightly more protein, slightly more fat, because the goal is to prioritize recovery. And typically on an off day or where you're doing less activity, your body is going to prefer to utilize fatty acids instead. So if I scroll over here, whether you're a male and or female, you can be able to change these percentages to whatever you want, and that'll be able to change the gram, the calories, etc., to manipulate to what you need it to. If you need more charts over here for carbs and or protein, typically if you do resistance training, I recommend 3 to 5 grams per kilogram body weight. If you're doing a majority or most of your training as endurance, you may want to hop up to probably like 5 to 12 grams per kilogram body weight. Same thing with protein. If you're more of an endurance-based athlete, 1.2 to 1.6. If you're more resistance training athletes or tactical military personnel, first responder, probably 1.8 to 2.2. If you're someone who's really focusing on trying to lose body fat, fat mass, or trying to lose weight in general, you may want to go into the 2 to 2.5 grams per kilogram body weight for your protein there as well. And then you have a small chart here that'll help represent what that specifically looks like. Also on the bottom here, what you can also do is if you want to see how much fluid you need to take in based on your sweat rate, you have this available. So let's say I weigh 209 pounds and I got done with an hour and a half training and I weigh 204 pounds. All right, I lost 5 pounds. So for every pound of weight loss, that's 16 to 24 ounces of fluid you're going to need to drink to get back that pound of weight. So if I lost 5 pounds times 16 to 24 ounces, that's roughly how much fluid you're going to take in within the hours after that to be able to regain that. It'll also give you a percent loss based on how much weight you lost. Anytime you have a 2% or greater loss in body weight in water, can cause up to a 10% decrease in performance. So the more we can try to keep that below 2% and manage that, the better performance output you're going to have in and around your training. Okay. I've got 2 different templates here that you can utilize. This one has food lists on the bottom for proteins, fats, vegetables, fruits, grains, dairy products. What you can do is if you want to do the drop down box options, you can click the protein, right? Carbs, fats, vegetables, fats, dairy, etc. You can click the type of protein that we have there, and then you can click the serving size, and then it'll shoot out the protein, carbs, fats, and or calories. If you don't want to get super sophisticated, there is also where you can just physically write down what your specific meal is going to look like for fruits, vegetables, carbs, protein, what supplements you're going to take at one time. You could also put the time up here, what time you want to do those things based on how that fits into your schedule. If you want to have this to calculate your fueling needs and you feel like utilizing specific apps may be more advantageous for you, I listed 3 different apps there if you want. When it comes out to measuring your food, I have several different ways. There's a hand method, there's using measuring cups, or I've also listed 5 different scales you could buy to measure out your food. Typically, I find most clients using the hand method and or the measuring cups tends to be the easiest. Now, okay. So that's the 2 different template plans there. On the bottom here, you're going to see an eating out guide. So this has over 50 different restaurant fast food places. This is something I will share with you upon utilizing this, or if you don't get access to it, I'll be able to share that with you as well once you purchase this. And this will give you just some basic feedback on how to choose some better, higher quality choices when you're going out, TDY, traveling, family, friends, vacations, etc., to make better decisions when you are specifically eating out. This tab right here is just basically explaining how weight loss and weight gain works so you do it safely, right? Half a pound to a pound and a half weight loss or a half a pound to a pound and a half weight gain is a safe weight gain per week, which equates to 2 to 8 pounds of weight loss or weight gain per month. And then depending how much weight you want to lose, I provided you an example. So if I want to lose 15 pounds, right, I would divide 15 by 2 and 15 by 8. That gives you the shortest amount of months it would take to reach that goal. And that would give you the longest amount of months to reach that goal. But it gives you a realistic idea of how long it's going to actually take to hit that weight gain and weight loss goal, doing it the right way. We don't want to do stuff too fast and then end up putting on more fat mass than we need to. We also don't want to cut our calories too low and then end up underfueling and then directly impacting our performance, hormones, and many other things. One thing you can do up here in the top, which you can see, is I highly suggest 4 times a month weighing yourself at least 1 time a week on a Monday or Sunday, directly after or directly when you wake up in the morning time before you eat or drink with minimal amount of clothing. This is what will give you, and it's considered a dry weight. So this weight is not impacted by anything, and this will give you a good idea. You can track it here if you want to see how your weight is trending up, down, or if you are essentially sustaining that weight that you want to sustain. This last tab here, again, you can see I have ignore on these last 2 tabs. There's nothing new to click and or utilize in those 2 tabs. That is just something that helps with some of the other tabs for some of the calculations, so please don't touch those. But in this performance nutrition supplement end, I have my discount sheet here that will be shared with you. I've got the different lab companies that I would recommend if you're going to get labs done. And then I just have my top 5 supplements that I typically recommend to every client and just a general background of what these supplements specifically do, the dosages. And I have in the top left corner up here, you can see all the third-party NSF certified brands I would recommend. If you do not want to use one of these brands, I would highly suggest and recommend using the NSF for Sport app, which you can then look up any supplement to make sure and see if it is actually third-party tested or not. So big thing here, again, if you have any questions with any of these templates or any part of the templates or any of the tabs specifically, don't be afraid to reach out to me to let me know if you have any questions. Last little thing here is they also attached 3 different handouts to give you some visual representations of portion control from using your hand and or measuring cup approach, and then just a meal prep guide and meal prep ideas to kind of further continue to support and give you the resources you need when you utilize this template. So hope you guys enjoy. Hope you guys get a lot of help from this and you're able to maximize, optimize, and reach the goals that you want to. Again, if you need one-on-one help, that is something that I also offer too. And just reach out to me and let me know. You guys have a fantastic day.